Welcome to the Client Alchemy Show, episode number 6. Dov Gordon here, and if you missed any of the previous episodes, all you need to do is go to our YouTube channel and you can watch them on demand. You can find them at youtube.com. Let's see, got to get the positioning right here. dovgordon.net/YouTube. That's what it is, not youtube.com, but dovgordon.net/YouTube, and that will forward you to our YouTube channel. Once you get there, please click the subscribe button. If you like a video, click the thumbs up and share it if you do agree that the material is good quality and other people can learn from it. And we'll certainly appreciate that. Now, yesterday we had a call with our Plenty of Clients 100-day sprint clients, and I want to share something that they all found to be very helpful, because you know, when you set out to create a consistent flow of ideal clients, there are going to be many pitfalls along the way. Information is not enough. Most of us know a lot. We've been studying marketing. We've been learning, gone to workshops, taken courses, info products, even coaching programs or whatever it might be. Learned a lot, but information is not enough. You need to become skilled at applying what you know. You have to become masterful at it. And in order to become masterful at something, there are lots of nuances you have to become familiar with. And you've got to master the nuances. I don't know anybody who helps you master the nuances in this area of creating a consistent flow of ideal clients the way we do. For example, one of the things you need to master is, what do you do when you're talking with a potential client and that client dumps this at you? Prove that you can help me. Prove that you can help me. Also, how do you know if your prospect is ready for a proposal? Right? I'm sure you've had this happen. A prospect says to you, send us a proposal. And you send it, and you never hear from them again. Right? What happens is you try reaching them, you call them, and you call again, and you send them an email, and nothing, no response. This is, they probably pressed that button, block the caller. So how do you know if they're ready for a proposal, or if they're just blowing you off? And also, have you ever been asked to put together a credibility deck? Did you? Did you send it off? Did you do a credibility presentation? Should you have? Was it effective? What should you do next time you're asked to put together a credibility deck? So we're going to talk about all that and more in today's Client Alchemy Show, episode number 6. Welcome again. My name is Dov Gordon, if you're just joining us, from The Alchemist Entrepreneur. My little company is, what we see as our assignment is helping consultants, coaches, and experts who carry important ideas and experiences to increase your influence, your impact, and your income. And we do that by helping you create a consistent flow of ideal clients, because that's the only way you can increase your influence, your impact, and your income, is through working with ideal clients. It's only in real-world contact with real people that you can really sharpen your skills. If you've mastered anything, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You can't really sharpen your skills to get really good at anything just, in your office, in the laboratory, in the library. You've got to get out there in the real world, and that's when you really see how much you know, and that's when you really have influence. And I found that, once you get beyond a certain level of study, when it comes to, because everybody, if you're not the charismatic guru, we talk about this, and you're looking to follow the path of mastery to create a consistent flow of ideal clients, then you're going to go out and study marketing and sales, just like you studied other things. You're going to acquire lots of knowledge and information, and that's, of course, necessary. I found that most of the people, by the time they're coming to us, they're at a situation where you know so much, you're not missing a lot, you know a lot about marketing and sales, you've mastered your craft, the one you want to be marketing. You've got 90-95% of what you're doing, of what you need to know, but there's this 5% that's missing, that's preventing you from breaking through to that consistent flow of ideal clients. So to that end, we did create a free training, also completely free. After this, if you want, go on over to dovgordon.net/missing5, the word missing and then the number 5, and there's a free training called The Missing 5%, The Honest Secret to a Consistent Flow of Ideal Clients. Okay, so now I'll just say, even if you watched it a while ago, it's worth watching again, because there's nuance, there's subtlety. You'll gain from it more the second time and the third time. Let's dive in. So what do you do when you're talking to a potential client and they throw down this challenge at you and they say, prove that you can help me? Prove that you can help me. What do you do? What do you say? So one of our support coaches, about a year ago, her uncle was visiting over the weekend, and he asked her what she does, about her job, what we do. He's a successful insurance agent, and she told him what she does, what we do around here, as I just described. And he challenged her. He said, "Prove that you can help someone like me." So in episode 5, we talked about wrongly thinking that you must demonstrate your expertise here. Your expertise must be demonstrated, but if you're feeling pressured to prove yourself, you're doing it wrong. You can go back to episode 5 for that. Because again, we just in brief, we talked about how if you're feeling a pressure to prove yourself, then you're driving people away rather than bringing them closer to you. So what do you do when you're confronted, challenged to prove that you can help somebody? That's the situation that she found herself in. And it's just an example that we use, but you've probably been in a very similar situation. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. Think about that situation you were in, especially if you don't think you handled it as well as you should have. You would have liked to handle it better. So she used the various skills that we've learned over the years, but she didn't feel that she was leading the conversation. She felt she was reacting more to his challenge than leading him, which is necessary because sales is leadership. If you're going to, episode 2, sales is leadership. If you're going to successfully market and sell your expertise, you've got to realize that this is all about leadership. So she kind of felt she was hitting a wall, not quite getting anywhere, and of course her uncle wasn't convinced. Now the next day she came to the office and told me what happened and asked. She said, "I could sense that I was missing something, but I couldn't put my finger on what I was missing. What was I missing?" And this was about a year ago. And I'll tell you what I told her. I do want to mention that we're a small team. There's about a handful of us over here, and what makes my team amazing is that we are all just constantly improving and getting better. I mean, we don't just bring on a whole load of people who are 4 weeks ahead of our clients or anybody like that. But she's been working here for 6 years before, and she's been coaching for the last 2 years. So this is about a year ago. And every week we sit down a few times a week to work on improving her skills. I do that with everybody in my little team. And I say that because this is the kind of environment that we have, and it's the same kind of thing that we do with our clients. So I just want to give credit where credit is due. Anyway, she's like, "What should I have done differently? How could I have more elegantly led that conversation?" Great question. And here's what I pointed out. What I pointed out is that first, you need to notice what's actually going on. You've got to realize that you're being asked to prescribe, to offer a prescription before you've had any kind of diagnosis. Your uncle says, prove that you can help me. Well, essentially he's saying, what would you recommend for me? What can you do for me? But there hasn't been any kind of diagnosis. And the rule, of course, is diagnose before you prescribe, right? Doctors follow that rule. And effective salespeople follow that rule because sales is leadership. And no one is going to follow you and take your prescription unless they feel that you understand them, that you're going where they want to go. We talked about that in previous episodes as well. Sales is leadership. I think that was episode 2, right? Said that before. Now, when you're the guy who comes and you're, giving advice before the person you're talking to feels understood, feels that you hear them. I mean, just think about it, right? We've all been in that situation where someone is telling you what they think you should be doing, whether it's in life or in business, and they're going on and on like this green-haired guy. And you're sitting there thinking, you don't even know me. You don't know what you're talking about. It could even be a parent, and you're thinking, you don't know me, you don't understand me, you don't understand what's going on. Because nobody is going to follow your lead, and again, hire you, because sales is leadership. They're not going to follow your lead unless they feel that you understand them, right? So the trap that this uncle was bringing her into, the trap that any potential client is bringing you into when they say, how do I know you can help me, or what can you help me with? That kind of question is that they are actually encouraging you or asking you to make a recommendation or prove yourself before you've had a chance to diagnose. So they no matter what you're going to say, they don't have any confidence in your recommendation because they don't feel you understand them. So The first thing is to recognize that you're in that kind of situation. Now, the second thing you need to do is you need to retake control of the conversation, retake control of leadership. And you do that by asking a question. You say, look, the prospect says, prove that you can help me. And you say, well, I don't know that I can actually help you, right? I don't know that I can help you, right? What we do is that we help consultants, coaches, and experts who have a unique perspective on their expertise. Do you have a unique perspective on insurance? And what she's done is she's thrown the question back, or him in this case, right? You don't answer his question, because his question is leading both of you to a place that is not effective for anybody. You're not going to be able to learn enough about him to find out if he is somebody that you can help, right? Again, never a good idea to prescribe before you diagnose. And what you need to do is to regain control of the conversation. And what you could say is, look, I don't know if we can help you, essentially. We help these kinds of people. Do you fit that profile? And now, instead of you being back on your heels, reacting, Uncle is, or your prospect is, and you're back in control of the conversation. You're leading, we call this elegantly leading the sales conversation. And this is an example of an advanced, more nuanced skill that you need to learn to identify. Now, this, of course, is just an opening. I mean, we're not looking to get anybody. That's not our objective. Our objective is so that we can do a proper diagnosis, because if we can do a proper diagnosis, then we can build that proper relationship and then make a good recommendation. It may not be us. Maybe it's something else. But this is the only way that you can do a proper diagnosis in that situation. Now, this brings us to the second question that we were going to talk about, which is proposals, right? What do you do if a prospect asks you to submit a proposal too early? How do you know if it's too early? And the answer, of course, is because they're asking you to submit a proposal before you've done a proper diagnosis. Same idea. Lots of times, we've all been in the situation where, a client says, well, send me a proposal. And like we said before, you send them a proposal, and then they don't answer your calls and they don't respond to your emails. It's like, maybe they've just put you under block this caller, right? And you wonder what happened, what went wrong. And the answer is what went wrong was all the way back at the beginning, because they wanted you to send the proposal before you were ready. So from their point of view, because you did what they asked, from their point of view, you are this green-haired guy. You're just blah, blah, blahing, but they're thinking, you don't understand me. You don't understand me. You're just like dumping on me. I'm not going to read that proposal. If I read it, it doesn't even talk to me, because you don't even know what you're responding to. And the last area where we talked about this, and we see that how relevant this is a capabilities desk. So on our 100-day sprint call yesterday, we had a client who asked me about what to do when a prospect asks for a capabilities desk. Now, he works at a market research consulting firm, and he'd spent a nice amount of time putting together a capabilities deck to send to a potential client of theirs. And what that means, when they're asking you to send a capabilities deck, what are they actually asking you? They're saying, prove that you can help me. That's essentially what they're saying. And if in response you actually send the capabilities deck, then what you're doing is you're making a very weak attempt to demonstrate your expertise, to prove your competence. And that won't work. Instead, when somebody asks for a capabilities deck, here's what you need to do. Replying, you say, look, what we do in our company is that we help companies like yours or people like you with bing, 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 and list 3 to 5 bullet points. Each of those bullet points are a very specific problem that you can help solve, a result that you can enable. And you list specific problems that you can help solve, results that you can enable. Do you guys have any of these or similar problems, results that you're looking to solve? If yes, then let's talk. And what you've done is, first of all, you've avoided hours and hours of work, all right? Creating the nice PowerPoint and so on that nobody's really going to look through carefully. And number 2 is you've actually you've answered the question that they're really asking, because when your potential client asks you, do you have a capabilities deck? What they're really asking, you got to learn to separate the words they say from what they mean. What they really mean is, Can you help me? Right? Now, we're not going into another topic that's really important. Also came up yesterday, but we don't have time for this. The whole topic of, are you actually talking to a potential buyer, somebody who can, a decision maker? Separate topic. But what you need to learn how to do is you need to recognize when somebody says, prove to me that you can help me, when somebody says, send me a capabilities deck or send me a proposal, those are the words they're saying, not necessarily what they mean. And if you respond to the words they say, but not to the, but you don't respond to what they actually mean, you lose the deal, because even though they asked for it, this is what you sound like to them in your response. That's what you sound like, and you don't want to sound like that. And as soon as I made this point about the capabilities deck, one of our 100-day sprint clients spoke up, and she said, what you guys just said in the last 3 minutes was a light bulb moment for me in terms of what I dealt with when I was in the corporate world, because that's what she was saying. Most of our clients, many of our clients are corporate refugees, people who did well in the corporate world, and now they want to go out and figure out, how do I take all this expertise I've acquired and turn it into, a nice, good consulting or coaching or expertise-based business. So again, she said, well, you guys just said about the capabilities desk, this was a light bulb moment. And she was sharing with us. She's like, I see now why so many of us would be totally frustrated. We'd bring them in, meaning some consulting firm, and we'd say, okay, we want your capabilities presentation to see if we want to team up with you, or we want to bring you in as a consultant. And these people, she says, they never had any conversations with anybody in the place before they showed up. And they gave us a boring, excruciating, hour-long slide presentation that we all hated and nobody ever wanted to go to. And this insight she's shared with us, it's so powerful because now I'm going to be able to use it to help my clients in the future with her business. And she's absolutely right. So, folks, now you see that to stand out, to elegantly lead your potential client to a closed deal, you have to lead. And often that means that you take the conversation in a different direction from what they intended. And this is a nuanced skill. Helping you get really good at the various manifestations, all the various nuances of this is what we do, I think, probably better than anybody else in our Plenty of Clients 100-day sprint. If you want to learn more about how we might help you, I want to send you first to something completely free. And that is, I mentioned this earlier, go to our The Missing 5%. The Missing 5%, the honest secret to a consistent flow of ideal clients, which is at dovgordon.net/missing5. These are 3 free classes over there. It's about 35, 40 minutes, completely free classes that will introduce you to our most important ideas, the frameworks. We'll get to questions in a minute, by the way. And if you like what you see in those 3 free classes and you get a sense that we might be able to help you further in our 100-day sprint or mastery program, then on the page of class 3, there's a little form. You can fill out that form, and that will take you to the 100-day sprint orientation. You can think of it as class 4. And on the page of that orientation, it's about 25 minutes, I think, where we'll walk you through everything you need to know about how the 100-day sprint works. And if it sounds like a good fit for you, on that page, you can schedule a meeting with me, and we'll get on the phone and see if it makes sense for you. We have to believe that it's a good fit, that you're somebody that we really could help, and help in a way that it will be worthwhile financially for you. And you, of course, have to believe that it's something that you could do and that will be worthwhile financially and time-wise for you. So let's open this up for questions. Let's open this up for, oh, I forgot to use one of my best little slides. This was meant to go along with my client's description of what it would be like when they're all sitting watching those PowerPoint presentations that nobody wanted to watch. I'm quite proud of that one. What do you think? All right, so this is what we do not want. We do not want our potential clients to have this kind of reaction, this kind of response. I hope nobody out there, I can't see you guys, but I hope nobody looks like that. Anyway, if you have any questions, there is a button somewhere on your screen where you could raise your hand. You can certainly use the chat box, and somewhere there should be a Q&A box too. So if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to talk to you, happy to respond if you type it in. And if there are not going to be any questions, then we will just call it a day and we can all be off. Last call. Any questions? I'm not seeing any raised hands. We had a couple last week. That was fun. All right. Since there are no questions, if you think of something afterwards, you can email me, dovgordon@dovgordon.net, and that's that. So in closing, we've talked about the importance of nuance, and I want to recommend that if you don't yet have a consistent flow of your ideal clients, it is not you, the person. It is probably your process. We tend to think that we tend to blame ourselves. It is probably not you, the person. It is almost certainly the process, the approach that you're taking to the various things that you're doing, and therefore, go watch these free 3 classes. And if you like what you see and you think we can help you further, reach out to us. Craig does have a quick question. Would you say the prospect asked the question, prove it, because they're not sure what they want, afraid of getting the wrong service? So that's a good question. The question really is, and it's a very common question, why would someone ask for a proposal if they're not really interested, if they don't really feel, right? So, the answer, there could be different answers, but essentially, when they're saying prove it, it could be they're just curious, right? Or prove what you can do for me. It could be they're just curious. Often they don't feel a need. So what you have to realize is that what they say is often not what they mean. And we have to become skilled and practiced at being able to tell the difference between what somebody says and what they mean. I'm going to, I just see Richard Gregory subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you, Richard. Everybody else, that was something else. You can get the recordings of previous episodes over here and click the subscribe button. We're trying to hit the first 100, and your help is greatly appreciated. dovgordon.net/YouTube. Maybe it indicates that they're looking for leadership. It could indicate they're looking for leadership. It could indicate that they're just being polite. It could indicate all sorts of things. It doesn't matter so much. Let me tell you a story, and then we'll close with this. This is what it indicated once upon a time. I was once meeting with, there were 2 brothers who owned a company with about 50 employees, and the management was dysfunctional. I met with one of them twice to see about really getting it. This is many years ago. I was doing different types of consulting. And, I went in there and we had 2 good meetings. And the next step was going to be meet with his brother, who was he was number 2 at the company. His brother was number 1, to see about some kind of long-term, bigger project to really help them. I got back to the office after the meeting and I saw an email. And the email started asking me about my experience. Dov, could you just send me some information about your experience? Do you have a degree or that kind of question? So what do you do when someone asks that question? One approach is you answer the question. You'd think, well, could just be, you answer your question. But you have to learn to recognize that that is not the real question. And because I had just met with him, I knew what the real issue was. I knew that from the context, I knew that the real question was not about me, because he just spent 2 hours with me, 2 meetings, an hour each. He had enough to know that that I can help him. So the real issue, I presume, was what he was really saying was, help me talk to my brother or say something to my brother. Help me recommend that my brother meet with you in a way that he will take me seriously, because we both know that's one of my problems, is that we don't trust each other. How do I talk about you to my brother in a way that he will take me seriously and want to have a meeting? That's the question that I answered, because I came to realize that's what he was doing, and the meeting happened. I never answered the question he asked in that case. I think I wrote something like this. I said, look, Bob, you know me well enough without, knowing about whatever you asked, history or credentials, whatever it is. That's not it. I'm assuming that what you're really asking is how to, help me know how to introduce you to my brother in a way, and then here's what I would recommend you do. And turned out to be correct, and that's what happened. All right, so that is a really important skill. Good to see you here again. The next time we're going to do episode 7, not next week, but the week after. We got to slow down a little bit, creating a lot of material, and we need to take some time as a small team to make sure that we are using this really well. Have a good day.